trophy.
Oh, get the champagne. Here's your glass of milk.
Hello. We are back after
We took an holiday.
what felt like the longest week ever.
Mm-hmm. We hope all of you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. We sure did. If you live in a country that doesn't celebrate Labor Day, hope you had a good weekend. And I hope you missed us.
It's unfortunate that when this drops, it's Monday.
Why is that?
Because Mondays suck.
Not anymore, man.
Why?
Because you can listen to the Frame Rate Podcast,
Oh.
essentially weekly, except for holidays that we choose to celebrate because we needed a break.
Memorial Day? Mm-mm. Labor Day? This
Don't
is
work.
labor.
Yeah, we get that off. Should show you our schedule, what we have. Don't. Like the great
Gatsby.
coaches once said, no days off.
The ketchup is live. As you can tell, I'm wearing a football shirt, so we're talking about football today.
And as you can tell, I'm wearing a Star Wars racing jacket, so you get to be confused.
It's May. Just kidding, it's September.
Yep.
That's really
We
unfortunate.
just talking about Labor Day, so. Boy, do you look dumb.
But I will say, let the record show, just a little bit of a cut back to one of our previous episodes. Today was the day that the Cardinals played the Saints.
Exposing our filming schedule there, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Cardinals won and beat the Saints. So I am living high.
And
for
my
this season.
punishment for my team losing to his team,
Is wearing the game day colors.
I have to make all the social media content this week.
That is the game day colors of the Saints, kind of.
Close enough.
Yeah.
This one's definitely more tan than gold, but their
watching-
gold was really close to tan.
I was going to say,
anyway.
watching on the broadcast, you were like,
Yeah, they went with their throwbacks rather than like an actual gold.
yeah, like that weird, like darkish yellow color, like urine yellow color.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about my team. What's this episode about, Tristan? You already said it was about football, but something tells me that that's incorrect.
It's about racing. And who better to talk about racing than two guys who don't really know a lot about racing? At least I don't. I don't know anything.
I don't either.
All I know is I like cars. Cars go fast.
Vroom, vroom. We watched Ford v Ferrari,
Mm-hmm.
if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail.
And let me tell you, this is a great movie. There's something about...
All right, episode over. Great movie, everybody. You should watch it. Came out 6 years ago. My gosh.
That's crazy.
6 years.
When did it come out? 2020?
2019.
2019. That's right. I knew it came out sometime while
Yeah.
my 2-year hiatus from
Well,
mainstream media.
very good. I saw that one in the theater.
Yeah.
As someone who didn't know a lot about racing, I got to go see that
Yeah.
in the theater.
That
and
was
it was superb.
That was a good one. I enjoyed. I mean, this movie is one of those movies that just continues to age very well.
Yeah.
It's going to be like one of those movies. If it's not, I think it is already. But if not, it'll be like a gold standard. I mean, I think actually, I haven't seen F1, but judging by what you and your brother were saying, both movies, like F1, like its film style, seems like it drew a lot of inspiration from this movie.
I probably had inspiration. Obviously, I don't know that for certain. But
Right.
like it definitely felt edited very similarly.
Yeah.
I mean, F1 is definitely more fast paced, and it's a little bit more thrilling in the sense that you don't know how it's going to go because it is fictitious.
I was gonna say it's fictional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the story of Ken Miles, you know, if you like and know that story already, then you know how that movie's going to go. But the way that it was portrayed was very similar to the way that F1 was shot. Just F1 was a more modern, more European take.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, just getting out like my initial thoughts. I think I've said this before, but I'm always a sucker for a true story film in kind of any depiction. Well, not all of them. I'm not a fan of The Conjuring, but
as has been established on this show before.
No, just about any like outlet that they use to portray true stories, I typically eat those up. There's something about knowing that what you're watching actually happened that kind of makes the movie hit a little harder when you're actually like watching it. That kind of makes the movie better at least for me, makes that experience better. This is one of those movies that I don't know, from the get-go, like I obviously thought it was going to be a great movie. Always wanted to watch it when I was on my mission. Came home and watched it and fell in love with it. But like I didn't know that it had anything to do with Carroll Shelby. I mean, I know that's not. It's kind of like 45% of the story is his.
Pretty
right?
much. Yeah.
Like it's not. Yeah, he's definitely like a secondary main character to the movie. But my family, we're all like Shelby fanboys. We love. I may not know a lot about cars. That's my brother Aiden. Shout out. But I don't know much about cars. But I do know that we're a family who loves cars. Like, I mean, who doesn't love a car? I guess there's probably actually a lot of people out there who don't like cars. But I love cars, and I also love muscle cars. So. Shelby, the company is actually really big in that, mainly because of the Mustang. The Mustang's kind of what has continued to put Shelby on the map now, because Shelby doesn't really do the racing anymore, at least outside of like the Ford outlet.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that was actually something that I thought was really cool, because Carroll Shelby, I mean, I said it to you during the movie, like, Carroll Shelby is for sure one of like a certified like classic American badass. Like he's a cool guy, and like the things that he accomplished in his life and like what he did to put like himself and Ford Racing on the map, crazy. Like what's crazy is that the company is still thriving now, right? Despite it being bought out by Ford and. Anyways.
Shame, huh? After watching that movie and knowing what you're like, I don't think Shelby would have wanted that. But
no,
like I'm just assuming that it probably saved Shelby's.
Probably
existence.
they all do that.
But enough about the nuance of real life and current things.
Back to the movie that
Let's
you're
get
here
to the
for.
specifics about Ford v Ferrari. What'd you like about it specifically?
Specifically, honestly, one of the things that I liked the most was the fact that there were so many actual cars. We did a little bit of research, and there's not a lot of them. They used the real life, like Ferraris and GT40s and Shelby Cobras and Corvettes in certain scenes. Obviously, they didn't. At least I don't think they did. From what I read, they didn't. They didn't race any of these actual cars because these cars are worth more than the movie itself. They're expensive cars, but they were able to build actual like models for this, and what I would assume is like frames that were to just be mounted on top of other like car chassis and use those.
Yeah. And
I really liked that. It kind of helped sell like the time period.
I'm assuming that was just a necessity that probably like spent a lot of time in the production stage of figuring out where and how they were going to get all of these. What I read, it came down to 453 cars rented or leased for this film.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming a vast majority of those are just background cars they had in city scenes.
Yeah.
Just parked.
Yeah.
So it would sell that it was in the 60s.
Yeah. Oh, I know that the Ferraris, all the Ferraris that were in the static shots in the factory when they go to Italy, those are all the real ones. And all of the Shelby Cobras, like the vintage Shelby Cobras, in all of the scenes where they're in Shelby shops and the hangar, those are also all real.
To be an extra on this film.
Yeah.
Heck, I bet John Bernthal had the best time filming this movie because he got to go to the most locations, got to do the most stuff, just like variety-wise, and got to be in the same room as a lot of those vintage cars. And looked the part.
To be how terrifying it would be to be the person in charge of operating around said old Ferraris.
I'm sure that they had to hire trained hands or something.
Yeah.
Because it's probably...
I bet you the extras were probably the trained hands.
Yeah, they... Either
Just
they hired them
up.
outright or it was like...
They trained.
Like it's easier to train the experts with the cars on how to act as an extra versus having to train an extra on how to handle those cars.
Yeah. Because that would... If it was just me, and they're like, make sure no one touches this.
White gloved only, except for when we're shooting. Then fake touch the car.
I would not be surprised also if there were like a list of people who were allowed to be around those cars. Like
I know
you had to
especially
get like an okay.
I know especially with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferrari are such sticklers about their
Yeah.
cars.
Especially those old ones. Yeah. Yeah.
The ones that like built their brand.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
With the Shelbys, I probably think that it wasn't the case because Shelby's
Ford probably helped pay for the movie.
Yeah, it's probably like probably the biggest. Now you think about it, it's probably the most expensive advertising campaign a company's ever spent on a movie.
Yeah, I'd like to see just like circa the end of 2019 when this came out, because I think it came out fall 2019. Just exactly how sales for Shelby went post that. Because I bet now it's plateaued, if not fallen again, but like what that little spike was. And I bet like you just see little spikes here and there when people rewatch the movie.
Probably.
Anytime it's NASCAR season
showing or something.
Daytona, they just you see a little spike in there. Stock.
What was your favorite part of the movie? Your little thing.
While watching movies now for these things is like it makes it very different because you're trying to figure out exactly how you want to talk about it later.
Yeah.
And watching it, I hadn't seen this movie for a little while, so I had forgotten a lot of details. But like, I do really appreciate how a lot of these scenes were shot to help you feel the emotion or perspective of certain characters. Like how like Ken had a lot of super close-ups. Christian Bale, you really got to see his pores because it helped you see exactly like all the little emotions that he was feeling, because what he felt was extremely crucial and important to this movie.
Yeah.
And
I actually
kind of helped build tension almost, even though it wasn't all that tense.
Yeah, I actually read that there was a lot of, I mean, it's a movie, so there's a lot of stuff that's like dramatized, put in there that's not in there. Actually, there was a lot of people who their biggest complaint was like the emotion showed by the Deuce or Henry Ford II.
Yeah.
Because they were like there was an article I read that was written by a racer that had met the Deuce and Lee Iacocca. That's John Barenthal, right?
Iacocca.
Iacocca, yeah.
Even
and then,
more product placement for Coke in this movie.
And Carroll Shelby. He was like, there's things in the movie that are like really good. My biggest problem is the portrayal of characters, because they talk about how Carroll Shelby doesn't actually thieve or cheat, but the big man Ferrari does. Like Carroll Shelby said that, like big man Ferrari. And then they were like, the Deuce was tough as nails. He didn't cry. Like, that man did not show emotion. Just a little more than you know. But I also enjoyed like the set design. I mean, I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Yeah.
As we've talked about every time we talk about the Fantastic Four.
It looked great.
Anything from that era, like, I don't know what the world is doing. Our generation, like our prime generation, brought back the 80s and the vivid colors, and the kids now are bringing back like Y2K. I don't know what kind of strings we got to pull to bring back like the 60s and like all of those cool, vibrant colors and logos and stuff. But I would like that to happen, because every time I watch a movie that's got that kind of propage in it, I'm like, I like it. Even just like when they walk into the Ford outlet for the unveiling of the Mustang, and they show like the Mustang and it's in like the like old font and stuff, I'm like, I want that sign. I enjoyed that stuff. So like the set design, I like props and stuff.
Yeah.
Good job on them.
These kinds of movies, like, it had to have been like so much fun to do that. Like, it being a set director has to be a really fun job.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if like it's like they started doing it because it's like their passion project was building things, and then they knew a guy at a movie studio.
Mm-hmm. I bet
next thing you know, he's helping move a classic 1960s Mustang onto a turntable with a crane very carefully.
Yeah.
How did I get here? Petting it.
I also think that it would have been way fun to be working on sound design for this movie.
Mm-hmm. It won the Oscar for sound mixing.
Really?
Yeah. And for editing, for film editing.
Yeah, it was apparent. Like they did really good.
Yeah, because honestly, I think just like from the filmmaking standpoint, that those two things were probably the most important thing in the whole movie. Was how it felt, which is what editing is for, and how it sounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess sound design didn't win, but mixing did. But I guess, the culmination of it all, like, I'm very grateful that there are more than one category for sound stuff, but like mixing is really just the end all be all. But it's like it takes a village.
Yeah.
For that to go.
Yeah. That was good. And I don't know. I've said it before, I love cars, even though I don't know much. I don't know if it's just me, like, because I know my wife. I've had this conversation with my wife many times, and she's like, I don't get the appeal. I love the sound of cars. Not the new ones that sound like a power drill. Right? Or the
Yeah, no.
From NASCAR.
No,
but
the purr.
Yeah.
I might sound crazy here, and this might make people who listen to us sound crazy, but I think, truthfully, it has to do, like, we're gonna go down to like a science of it. I think it has something to do with like the resonant frequency.
It's probably
like because we as men just genetically will speak lower because our larynx is longer and all that, but like just the way that like lower tone things sound, it resonates with our bones.
Yeah.
Because we're just naturally more dense than women.
Yeah.
In every definition of that word. And so we're like, we hear something just rumbling, like,
It just
like, I sound like that.
I love it. And like, this is coming from the guy where like we'll be driving down the road and some guy will pull up in a Mustang and you can hear that. And I'm like, roll the window down and Grace is like, the baby's sleeping. And I'm like, well, the baby's going to get woken.
This is going to help the baby.
The other day we were driving down and some guy had like an old like 60s, 70s Challenger pull up right and just hearing it. I was like, ha ha ha.
Bite me a piece of that cake.
Oh, so hearing the GT40, like I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And that was probably what I enjoyed the most about the sound.
I have to wonder like how much of that was like genuine. Like I'm sure that all of it was like legitimately recorded, but I bet, you know, like knowing what I know now about like on set, live, on location sound recording for film, like it would have been really difficult to get a lot of what you hear in the movie. That's why I think like I don't know exactly who votes for the sound mixing Oscars, but like when you have scenes like when they're at Daytona or when they're at Le Mans and you're in the box for the race and their team, like, and you hear them having dialogue with one another, like I can appreciate the actors in the direction of them having, you know, like raise their voice a little bit, but like when that one where the senior executive vice president comes down and tells Shelby to pull off Ken because he's out of control. Like he yells that, but then Shelby goes like, "It's Ken's car to the finish." When he does that, like that's just regular. Like he'd have to be like, "It's Ken's car to the finish. I can't do it." Like those places are so loud.
Yeah, I thought one thing, real quick, like. Because we're talking about sound, one thing that I don't know why, but this time through, like it kind of tickled that like bone in my brain when they're looking at the new bigger engine and they've all got their headphones on and then they go inside the room and they shut the door and then it's just here. I was like, ooh, that was cool.
They sold that effect.
Yeah. And like you could still hear it like very, very quietly, but like that was a cool effect. And they did that really well. And like, I don't know, you know more about this stuff because you do a lot more with mixing and sound. But like the fact that the sound like goes out with the closing of the door, so it like sells that effect. That was cool. I really enjoyed that.
I have to think that whole sequence was probably like added sound. Like I bet the engine wasn't actually making that loud noise.
Yeah.
I bet they had it like vibrating on something so it sold that it was on and running, and they had them speak at louder tones and stuff. But you know they're mic'd somewhere.
It's dead quiet.
You would not hear that.
Christian Bale's just doing his thing in the dead silence. According to this article, it says that the team was able to find an original. A guy from Ohio who built an original GT40 from original parts and had it certified, and that was what they used for all of the sound scenes for the Ford GT.
They just went to his house.
Probably. I think this one the guy let them drive it on a track.
Oh dang.
It says we had mics on the transmission housing and transaxles that gave us the whines and different interior sounds. But so the Ferrari was different, obviously, but yeah,
man, that guy in Ohio must have been so proud of himself.
Well, because it said that they found a couple, but none of them would actually let them go out and take it out, so they could do that. And then they found this guy and was like, yeah. Which shout out to that guy.
Well, my car in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Because that's
then I wonder, like, if they like wrapped it or if the paint job on it is CG or something, make it look like what Ken's car looked like back then, or if that guy just rebuilt Ken Miles' car.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Anyways, back to the topic. Sound great. Did a really good job. Really enjoyed it. I love the sound of old cars. New cars, they sound terrible. Love the sound of old cars. Something about a carburetor. Having a carburetor in a car makes it sound like a man.
That resonant frequency.
I would go to war.
I put a carburetor in my teddy bear to sleep with.
Mom, I can't sleep. Can you read me a bedtime
No, have this.
carburetor?
I put a carburetor in my cat, so it really
Instead
purred.
of white noise for my baby girl, I let her listen to a carburetor. I'm probably butchering that. It's probably not the carburetor, but that sound feels right. I know those old-timey cars have carburetors. Anyways, what did you not like about the movie? Was there anything this time through that you were like,
So sorry about that. If you couldn't tell, this is a two-man crew. And this two-man crew makes mistakes often. If you've been around since the beginning of this podcast, this is not the first instance of camera issues. However, for the first time, this one was wholly and 100% user error. So, if you have been faithful enough to listen this whole time, if you're choosing to watch us with the video feed and not just with your ears, for those of you who have just been listening to us, this must be very confusing.
cut to this time stamp?
I'll put it on the screen right here. And you will see our faces now. I mean,
think
there's going to be a picture of us for half of this episode. That's the one. You'll see that for half the episode, and then it'll be...
Oh. I think,
Now you can see the Star Wars racing jacket and the Cardinals
oh,
jersey.
so pretty. Oh.
It says Bunta Eve Classic on the back.
I love on this
It's
side.
a pod racing jacket.
It's got, yeah. I like that one. What does it say across the front? Why don't you give me a house tour?
It's the brand name.
Give me a
The brand
house.
that made it.
Give me a house tour of this.
So yeah, ignore what we were talking about before this.
I think we should give the folks who are now finally being able to see what our opening credits looked like. Because I thought that was good and clever, and now they're gonna know that when we were talking about milk and champagne, they're gonna have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh man. It'd be funnier if like the video footage was corrupt and I could just put in like screenshots about it. It's all broken as to what's going on. Much like racing, it takes fine tuning and occasionally something just breaks and you have to replace the whole thing. That's what's happening right now. Okay? Am I
All
still
right.
doing this?
Yeah,
Or
let
am I
me
just going to
see-
crouch over my microphone for the rest of the episode.
So it says pod racing.
So this is a Star Wars. This is a Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll narrate. This is a Star Wars jacket. Oh, there you go.
I don't even know where my cutoff is. I don't have a marker or anything here.
That's all right.
But this is a Star Wars X Civil Regime racing jacket for pod racing specific. It says Star Wars here.
It's got a lot of good
and it says
detail on
pod
it.
racing here. The Civil
We're not
Regime.
we're not sponsored
over
by
here.
any of these, by the way.
No, but I just thought this jacket was super dope, so I got it.
It fits the part.
Yes, it says Anakin right here on the sleeve. So it was his jacket.
What does it have on the back?
It has Anakin Pod Racer
That's sweet.
on the back.
That's cool.
And on this shoulder pad it says Tatooine. And on this shoulder pad, what does it say? I don't remember.
I don't know. It says
It's in what is the Star Wars language? Orabash or whatever?
Arabesh.
Orabesh. Some fan I am.
Orabosh.
Same thing over here. I think it's But
Good stuff. Like it. Thank you. That was Trevor's house tour. Now we'll get back to the actual scheduled program.
so if you've already forgotten what we were talking about,
Trevor,
before,
what was your least favorite part of the movie? If there was anything you could pick.
I don't know. I have to say that when we were watching this, I was not thinking about what I didn't like.
You weren't being a critic? Come on,
No,
Trevor.
that's not my job.
Come on, Trevor.
I don't want that to be my job. As we've already discussed, it's a terrible job to have.
It is a terrible job.
And they're all
to have.
bad at it.
Yeah, they are. Well, I'll go first. I think
I had things to say.
this movie sucked. No, I would actually just say probably the one thing, now that like I actually did some research on it, I know that it's a movie, and so you have to have more drama and like stuff. You can't just like show accurately depicted things because sometimes it's not really that entertaining. Right. Mm-hmm. I wish that the depictions of people would have been a little more accurate, because oftentimes the movie kind of depicts Ken Miles as someone who felt backstabbed, and I'm sure he did, like, and would oftentimes like voice his disapproval. But in real life, like after people interviewed him about like his thoughts about like the race at Le Mans and how he was cheated and all that stuff, and like the whole 1, 2, 3 finish, and he like went on public record a lot of times and was like, no, like these I have to be careful because these are the people who I work for, and these are the people who I like owe everything to. Wouldn't have been able to do any of this. So there was a lot of that. And then just like, I guess, just like character depictions, like showing Carroll Shelby, like obviously it adds to the film's feel of like the spirit of competition. But also I think like just those things, like they're not big details. They're not things that I'm like, it ruined the movie. Right. But like just accuracy. When I watch a true story, like I like for things to be accurate, because if not, you get into the Blind Side kind of a movie where you go and you think about this whole fairy tale story, and then turns out it wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
I guess now that I've had time to think, this isn't really all that important, but the narration at the beginning and the end of the movie, like it feels very cliche.
Mm-hmm.
Like pretty much every racing movie has some kind of like, there's some point at X speed where everything just slows down.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about a flow state.
I think
like
that
F1 explicitly has that happen.
Really?
It's just not narrated.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt just says it.
I think it would have been a little better and less cliche if they wouldn't have shown it at the beginning, like had it at the beginning, and if they would have just had it at the end.
I mean, I get why they had it at the beginning, because they have, Shelby, Matt Damon, narrating it, and they show him winning Le Mans and him reliving that, and then they have it at the end to bring it all back to help you show that like this was both of their experience kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like that flow state, like it didn't really happen in the movie very much.
Yeah.
There's like one scene at the end where Ken is just a full lap ahead. He's like 4 minutes ahead of second place, and he calms down. And that's like when he decides to do the 3-car finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when it seems the most like when he has that perfect lap. You're like, oh, like he's so petty. He's hit flow state.
Mm-hmm.
But like that is a different feel than from like the calm nature of like there's a moment when you at 7,000 RPM, like I don't know, it just didn't feel as like interconnected. It felt like
they could have shown it a little more.
It felt like something that the studio wanted.
Mm-hmm.
and that the writers did not put in there.
Makes me wonder if that's an actual quote that Shelby like ever actually said, or if that was just a movie
I doubt
trope.
it. I doubt it. Like I can't envision in my head like there's a moment. It's 7,000 RPM, just in front of everybody. I can't even remember the full quote because it only is said twice. But I guess that would be my one negative, because as a sound guy, and as we've already discussed, like that's very much
Yeah.
like what I was focusing on. What did he not say it?
No, he did not.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna
Someday they're gonna make a movie about this. There's a moment
7,000 RPM.
when you fly. No, you're driving.
I want.
Why do we turn into Bush?
Because like the same Texas drawl as Shelby had.
We're squinting the eyes and everything. I'm asking all these terrorist killers. Hit 7,000 RPM. Now watch this drive. Rum.
Stop these killers. Now watch this drive.
For any of you who don't know that, that's a meme.
Yeah, it's very funny. George Bush talked funny. I can't say talked funny. He just had an iconic voice.
No, I would agree. There's not. It's hard with movies like this. It's like Interstellar or like
It has like
it's so
it's
good.
a form of art.
Yeah.
On top of being a movie that people go to be entertained by.
Yeah.
Like it's the whole premise of movie making is to leave the viewer like thinking differently or acting differently because of what they saw. It's never explicitly just like
Go watch a story.
oh, whoa,
Yeah.
moving pictures.
Yeah.
That's what they used to be.
Yeah.
Moving pictures.
No, they're but with that, I don't.
There's a
think-
moment in a movie at about the 30-minute mark
when your brain just starts jumbling everything together.
when you figure it all out and you decide if you like the movie or not.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie, and I think that they just nailed it in all of the things that they were going. I mean, clearly, like they did a really good job. They made lots of money for it, but it's a movie that, like, there's some movies that you watch and you're like, that was a really good movie. Probably won't watch it again unless it's like on at some event and I'm like, oh, I could watch this. It was good the first time I watched it. This is not one of those movies. This is a movie where it doesn't matter. I guess it just depends on the audience, right? But this is a movie that you can just turn on and it's good.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
I think
It's a good movie that you can like put on when you have people coming over to watch a movie. Right.
I think that like this movie is very pretty. It's very beautiful, and I think it's like that obviously for racing fans who like, you know, they already have followed that, but like for you and I who like we like cars, we don't know them like that, and we don't know racing like that, that we can still like feel how important that one GT is to Ken and how well he knows that car. I like to think that that car is another character in the movie.
Well, and
It's also undergoing its development and being
and not
improved.
only that, but like to kind of like learn a little bit about the history of the car that finally beat Ferrari. Right.
Le Mans,
And not only that, but it's the only American car to ever win Le Mans. Right.
Yeah.
Like kind of cool to watch not only like Carroll Shelby and his journey through all of this, and also like who Ken Miles is and being introduced to what he was and what he did, but also like learning the story about the car that everyone talks about. At least, like, I mean, it's no secret. I watched Top Gear and the Grand Tour. We've talked about that a couple times in the show. This was always a car that they always talked about. Like, American cars suck, but this one is good, right?
The GT40.
Yeah. Yeah. They always bring that up. So it was kind of cool to just like learn a little bit of history, right? It's unfortunate that the Ford cars aren't as great as this anymore, but
they can't all be GTs.
no. But
unless I'll stick with my Toyota.
yeah. My Honda does just fine. Doesn't sound cool. My Honda sounds the opposite of cool.
Does not match my resonant frequency.
No, my parents had a minivan, a Kia minivan in high school. That car. Ooh, if I could get a car nowadays that sounded like that minivan, you would romp on the accelerator and it would be like, then you'd look down and you were barely hitting 20. That probably means that we drove it into the ground, me and my brother, but I'd like to think that Kia made the van that way. Appeal to the male audience that unfortunately had to drive this crappy car.
Yeah, the Kia.
Minivans.
Trunk space.
But yeah, it was a good movie. Trevor, what would you rate it out of 10? On the rewatchability scale.
Oh, specifically rewatchability?
I guess the first one just on 10 and then like rewatchability scale.
My rating for this movie just outright would be a 8.6 out of 10.
I would give it a 9. It was good. Oh, it changed. I would say that it's near perfect. I think that it was just a very well made movie. Like from an unofficial critic standpoint.
Yeah.
Good. Loud noises, great sounding cars, cool lighting, pretty good character development.
I can see how like maybe some people could get like a little lost in the plot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like
there's a couple different things going on all at once.
Like it starts with like Ken and his auto shop, and the IRS comes in and seizes it because he's broke, and then he had promised his wife that he wasn't going to race anymore because it's too dangerous. And then comes Shelby, and all of a sudden there goes Ken's financial problems, which makes sense on the surface, but like when introducing that, it felt like all of that at the beginning was almost just to lead up to that scene of Ken and his wife in the car. She just guns it, drives better than some of the Ferrari drivers did Le Mans.
Yeah.
With a station wagon.
Yeah. I would say I can understand that. What would you put on the rewatchability scale? Out of 5.
Like we're going still decimals, like a 4.5.
Yeah, I would probably
like that. That's like it has like even though it ends tragically, like it's kind of like got like a cozy feel.
Yeah, I would give it like a 4, maybe a 3.9. Not necessarily because I think the movie's bad, but I think that it's long. Yes, that definitely adds to it. But I would also say that it's made for a certain crowd, right? My wife thought the movie was cool, wasn't really the biggest fan. That's why she didn't come back and finish it, right? Because she was like, it's cars. So, like, to that point,
if it's not a topic that piques your interest, then you're not going to be interested. That's just the case with everything.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us, then we piqued your interest.
Yeah.
And now you have to stay. We have you now.
Yeah. And you're seeing us.
Yeah, you can. But this is my face.
I would say that. I would say that it like that because it's got its people, and it's got its fans. Like, for the same reason that I wasn't like terribly like, oh, I'm gonna go see F1. I'm gonna see it. Right, and the fact that I still still haven't seen it because I'm like, I'm not a race car guy. I'm not a racing guy.
A Formula One guy.
Right? I'll watch it if someone says, hey, you want to come watch F1? Or, hey, we bought F1. You can watch it. And I have some downtime. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Same with this movie. Like, this movie's a little different because I've seen it and now I know it's good. But, like, just from a standpoint, I can understand why people would be like, you know, I don't know about this one.
Yeah. I think
this is one of those movies that people watch because someone else has got it on and they just kind of sit down and are like, oh, what's this? Oh, well, it's on. I guess I'll watch it, right?
Yeah. I think that this is one of those movies that I would consider like closer to rare than common, where nearly every aspect of it is made at such a high quality that watching it again, just like, you're not like noticing things that you're like, I don't remember that happening.
It kind of makes you depressed to go back to other movies.
Yeah. Like, that one doesn't sound as good as that one did. And this one's cinematography was better than that one.
This is like the ultimate golden standard when it comes to this format of movie, I would say.
What would that format be?
Probably like the racing such and stuff, or maybe the true story,
like the comeback story.
Yeah,
just how that's framed.
Yeah, I would say that this is probably the new goal. Basing it off solely what you and Daniel said about F1, it seems like this was the baseline for F1.
Yeah, the F1. Certainly, like
this
when you're making
F1
movies, there's references for everything. You're gonna catch something like, hey, that kind of look like that. Like, there's hardly anything like perfectly original because humans are inspired by others.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just a lot of editing styles. I wouldn't be so shocked to find out that they were edited by the same people.
Yeah, the same teams.
But like they like a lot of the shots. I bet the cinematographer was the same because I bet when making F1, they looked like, who could we have that could do fast cars? And like, what fast car movies have been done?
I mean, I would even go like just even like the golden standard for like vehicle scenes in general. Because if you think about it, like this is a long throw, and this will be my final thoughts. It's a long shot, but like Top Gun Maverick and the shots that they get of the F-18 and all the dials and stuff, same thing, right? Same format, and like making sure they highlight the movement of the characters and like how they're reacting to these outside forces, but inside an enclosed capsule.
Like how the vehicle is an extension of themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my thoughts. Great movie. Good stuff. If by some chance you've never seen this movie before, go watch it.
Take your time to watch it.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, that's it. I hope you guys have a great week, and we will be here next week with Not Labor Day. Now I'll do it.
This was at the beginning episode, by the way.